Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Zach Celadonia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast, brought to you by Manscaped. Get the right tools for the job at manscaped.com and save 20% with free shipping with the promo code SteelCity. It's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. My name is Joe Kuzma, and joining me here for a pregame edition, I'm not flying solo anymore. I finally found one of these stragglers here in the underground, as it is the Steel City Underground. But he's here on an evening for a pregame show. A little out of the character, out of his a little uncharacteristic, I should say. That's the word I'm looking for. A Zach Flash Celadonia. What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, you joke, but I'm lucky I made it home. It gets dark early now out here, and I might need driving glasses now. I'm getting old because I'm telling you, like, it wasn't much past 6. I'm on my way home. I'm like, I can hardly see the lines on the street. Is this normal? Are the car lights, like, are their headlights always this bright, or the car's just that advanced now that they're all blinding?
Oh man, I've got like more than one story on that. Now, first of all, I was visiting back with my family in Youngstown just last weekend, and I followed my dad out of, like, you know, outside of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It's like pitch black, like just rural, you know, and it's the same thing. Like, we've had the time change, everything's dark already. And the next day, he's like, "What's up with your lights? Are those, like, you had your brights on or something?" I said, "No. People flash me. I've got a Subaru Outback that has, like, those really bright LED lights, and they try and flash me like, 'Hey, you jag, shut off your brights.' And then when
You're one of them.
yeah,
You're
well,
one
when
of them.
they ask for the bull, they get the horn. So then when I throw the real brights on, you know, you need these things. There's deer everywhere, man. I've had enough experience with a deer pushing me off the road into a ditch.
Yeah.
With the tree. Like, I had a 4-door Oldsmobile when I was just in college. I think I was a freshman in college. And I was on one of these back roads, Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, right on the border. And the deer, like, I missed it and went past me, and it ran back through, hit my car. My car slides off of back row road in a ditch, and it dented both of the driver's side doors, the front and the back. And then there was a tree against my other door, so I could only open one of the 4 doors by crawling out of my back passenger side from the deer. So
We're both lucky to be here tonight.
yeah,
Both
I
of us.
guess, you know, that was like dating myself here, but like 20 some years ago now. It sucks that I could say that. You know what I mean? So normally I'd poke fun at Brian, but everyone have your thoughts and prayers with him. His father just recently passed away, and that's one of the reasons Brian's got a little bit of time to himself there. So I know all the fans love him, and you're going to leave some, you know, well wishes in the comments. So please do so when you have a chance. And you know, that just hearing that, like, he posted something with his pops on Facebook, and I didn't realize. I thought maybe he was a veteran or he was doing it for Veterans Day or something like that. And then I got the news. I was like, oh man, I'm like, that sucks. I'm like, you know, he did look like a chip off the old block there. And I'm lucky to have my mom, 76, and she's hanging and banging. And we just watched Step Brothers. She had never seen Step Brothers till the other night. So when you're talking about that, you know, I was thinking about the night vision goggles. And it's like, you could hardly tell that these things are on your face. You can barely
Hardly
notice them.
noticeable.
Yeah. So it's been a while since, you know, we actually kind of took a bye week a little bit ourselves. They got a little bit of the trolls in the Twitter comments as well. They're everywhere there for $8 now. They think that they can save them, talk even more trash than what they used to. But the YouTube commenters, it was like, I threw one out. One of the guys that always listens and has to say something. I threw like 4 lines of statistics out and told him to pick the one that was Kenny Pickett versus the first 3 years of Ben Roethlisberger. And it's very indistinguishable to a certain extent. I wish I had a way to show this on screen. I may figure this out, and we'll come back around to it. But the Steelers, you know, just when you think they're coming around and these clowns are going to be at full strength, Chris Boswell lands on IR now. They get a guy, Matt Wright, signed off of the Kansas City practice squad, who was doing good. I was watching him with the Chiefs just recently. And I was like, hey, good for him, man. I remember he kicked for the Steelers for a quick minute, had a hot cup of coffee. It got cold very quick. He had like one game in 2020 when Boz was out too, but it had to be pretty serious. I thought having Skiba was, I was feeling a little sketchy. Tony Romo or whatever was trying to talk him up in that Eagles game, and NCAA leader, percentage leader, or whatever. I'm like, watching college football kickers does not give me the highest sense of confidence. Like anytime, no. And especially when they like troll someone out there, like, here, you go out there and try and kick this 40-yard field goal, number 84. It's like
Skiba's name's also a lot harder to say. So if that equates to football talent, then Matt Wright is definitely better. Just think of how much easier it is to pronounce for us and the announcers on TV. That's a win in itself. So no problems there. You want the kicker's game to be as smooth as possible. Start with getting his name right.
That's right. Slippy, slappy, skippy, scuba, scuba. It's
Start with getting his name right.
Yeah,
no pun intended. Matt
on the
Wright.
briefcase. Oh, Samsonite. That was way off. Yeah, another classic. Man, that movie's like twice as old as I didn't realize Step Brothers came out in like 2008 or something already. It's like,
What movie are you talking about?
I was talking about Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Lloyd and Harry, man, that's another good one. And yeah, the weather's turning. Why can't the Steelers just get weather? It's supposed to be 40. It's like everything. It was just 70s. You know what I mean?
Really, it's nice out today.
I know it's nice out all week, and now it's going to go in a dumpster like over the weekend. That's all I was thinking about. I'm like, really, they gave them the bye week, and now we get the crap weather. Like, couldn't we have that just a little bit? Like, couldn't we have?
I knew
like
that was going to happen, dude, because people were complaining too much about the warm weather. I said the cold's going to hear you, bro, if you keep that up. And look, lo and behold, here it comes.
Yeah, no joke. People, what are they thinking? But Boz being hurt, Matt Wright now. I didn't even see the Skiba cut news in the transactions. Like, I had to go back and look and see if he was still on the roster, nor was Jordan Berry. So I'm missing a couple things here or there. I thought Jordan Berry might be still languishing around. He's probably, they got the bat phone. They got the red, like, Bruce Wayne phone where the Roonies can just call him on speed dial. So anybody that kicks a ball, you're always in danger of losing a job. So we'll see if Matt Wright, he was with the Jaguars for a hot minute, almost had a job there. But that's what happens, man. Look at Nick Folk. I mean, Nick Folk was like, I think Nick Folk was completely out of the league. And if I remember correctly, he was kicking in like the XFL or something. And
I don't know about that, but I know he has like 9 field goals in the past like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, he's been like a fantasy star. Yeah, Arizona Hot Shots in 2019. So he was with the Cowboys.
He was on the Hot Shots.
Yeah.
That was my team, bro.
Oh no, the Hot Shots
that's
were
what
your
I
team.
picked. I was a Hot Shots fan and I was a Dragons fan when the XFL came to town.
You had to be.
What's up?
Not Dallas Renegades or whatever, like with Landry Jones.
No, I'm very simple. I went with the cool mascot. I thought the Dragons were cool, and now they're going to be the Seattle Dragons. Just so everyone, or no, the Sea Dragons, the Seattle Sea Dragons, is what they're going to be, kind of like the Seahawks. So be aware of that name change.
Yeah,
don't get confused.
The Arlington Renegades now, and you should see how many people in like the Dallas Fort Worth area are just like, because there's like not like Arlington's like this suburb, but it's basically like just this large plot of flat land where they decided to build a bunch of stadiums, and that's all that's there. Like, and I'm not even sure you could drink there, and people that are in the Texas area know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the colonies and everything else, your dry laws, a lot of that's changed around. Like, but I just remember you try and find like craft beer. So Texas is the weirdest place. You could be in a county that was like completely dry, and you could go over to the next county, walk into like a convenience store of a gas station, and they have like a kiddie pool filled with ice of just like double deuces sitting there to just grab and go. I think you could just like throw the change in a can and just walk right out the door. It's like one or the other. And you could be packing too. You could just have like your sidearm at your hip. It's a very odd and strange place, but Arlington.
I just think it's SpongeBob when someone talks about Texas.
Arizona Hot Shots, though. That's funny. Cowboys, Jets, Buccaneers. They didn't play anywhere in 2018. Went to the XFL in 2019 for the spring, went to the Patriots, and has been there since the fall of 2019. That's absolutely crazy. He was the NFL scoring leader last year, too. Isn't that just weird how that stuff like just turns out? It's just the strangest thing. And he was in the Pro Bowl as a rookie in 2007 with the Cowboys. What crazy.
Hey, Randy Bullock.
Yeah.
Randy Bullock has us to thank for his job because he came in and was money for us for however long that was. And he's been the Titans guy ever since.
Titans and Bengals too, right? He was at a
well, that's where he started, but I think he was like on the couch before we called him.
Yeah. Well, he was with the Titans too. I think 2 stints with the Titans. I don't know. We're talking too much about kickers. What's the big news that's going around? We don't have an official word yet, but any minute the glass should break. They're going to wheel out like the present in the box, and it's going to explode, and it's not going to be like a bunch of strippers or anything. It's going to be TJ Watt and fireworks in the steam. And if they don't announce defense for this game with TJ Watt coming back off of injury, I'd be extremely disappointed. But DeMonte Casey just came off of IR. They had to do that. He was activated. This would have been the last day, so they didn't pull a Calvin Austin there. We might get to see some of the 3 safety looks that we anticipated seeing. But TJ Watt, this is the one that we've been talking about as far as this changes stuff. This is a home wrecker. This is the quarterback of the defense. This is an all-pro. This is a defensive player of the year or runner-up in each of the last 3 seasons. Tied the sacks record last year.
The Pittsburgh TJ Watts. That's what I call our defense. That's what we are.
They should be. That's what they should be. But there were people that were like jumping all over. I saw another thing. Look at these busts like Devin Bush and Terrell Edmonds but somebody said Bud Dupree, and they keep going back to like Jarvis Jones. Okay, Artie Burns was a panic pick, and we're going to get to that in a second because in the same draft. Why did they panic? Because they didn't get William Jackson III. Now he's on this roster too. But yeah, okay, Jarvis Jones wasn't good, and Artie Burns was serviceable until he wasn't. But Bud Dupree, like a guy that had, I don't know, what's he got now? Like 40-some sacks and like 78 starts or something like that, 42, 44 sacks. Like, come on. Yeah, that guy's just totally a bust. You know what I mean?
I miss Bud Dupree every day.
I know.
When him and TJ finally were playing together at a high level, the defense was humming. Like it was genuinely fun just to watch TJ Watt and Bud Dupree like collapse on the quarterback. It was every play. It felt like they were at least there, if not resulting in a sack.
Yeah, and the other fun part with that too is how many strip sacks do you think Bud Dupree had? Like toward the last maybe 2 seasons he was with the Steelers, he had like 4 or 6. He was just
prime. Yeah, he was
people.
really good at it. Him and TJ both have a knack for it, which is like very beneficial. Obviously,
yeah. It's just I know. I wish he was still here. And then they always say the thing like just because the guy isn't on the team anymore, it's like they couldn't afford him. Like the Titans gave him. Speaking of the Titans, like I don't know, $1 bajillion, just like Javon Hargrave got from the Eagles. And there's no cap space. You can only pay so many guys top contracts, like between 5 to 10, depending on the structure of those, how they're laid out over however many years, how you're spending it, and then restructuring it, and et cetera, et cetera. So, you had Ben and you had Tuitt, and you still had AB on the books for a while, and they never really paid Lev Bell much outside of the franchise tag, but you get the idea. I mean, Marquise Pouncey and David DeCastro, elite players, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, elite players. And
not enough money to go around.
Yeah. And still spending on both sides of the ball when necessary. And they're doing that now. And it's supposed to be one of the highest paid defenses in the league. And people think it hasn't produced. But a lot of these games have been close outside of Buffalo, outside of Philadelphia. We're still steamrolling over most everybody except the Jets. Okay. You want to talk about something? And people complain, well, the Steelers didn't beat the Jets. Look at Kenny Pickett. They didn't get to beat the Jets or whatever. Look what the Jets just beat the Bills. I mean,
yeah, they're a good team this year. They're certified good.
They're turning heads, and there's still talk in New York as to whether or not they should be playing Zach Wilson or not. Can you believe that? They think he's reckless. They think he hasn't matured enough. Should they play Joe Flacco and play it safe? Because
I thought his knee wouldn't hold up after playing on like the slight tear, whatever it is. But he's playing well enough at this point. I would just let him keep going. Don't mess with the juju.
Yeah, and it gets into everything else that's going on here. I said before the last show that I did solo, but the Steelers have a lot of winnable games on the upcoming schedule. You've got teams with like 2 or 3 wins. You've got Carolina. You've got the Indianapolis Colts, who've just hired basically you or I as a coach. No, just Saturday, a great center for many, 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 many years playing with Peyton Manning. And just, but no one's ever called a play in the NFL. Like, you want to talk about teams that have problems. The owner gets rid of the OC and then gets rid of the head coach, and then he demanded a trade. They keep trading for whatever retread quarterback they could find. They get Matt Ryan, and then they bench him, and Sam Ehlinger's the future there. You know what I mean? And it's like, you think the Steelers have some problems, and then you've got the XFLer, former ex-XFLer, PJ Walker, He's going to be the starter. Steve Wilkes, another coach that's been around. At least he's been a head coach at one point or not another, and he's like an interim coach there as well. And these teams are on the schedule. The Raiders just put Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow on injured reserve. They've only had those two with Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and Derek Carr on the field for like something like 43, 45 snaps this season. There are teams that have far like greater issues than what the Steelers have. I think the Steelers record doesn't reflect. I know 2 wins is who you are. You're 2 wins right now. But you take a look at what's coming up on the schedule, and in particular, it's the New Orleans Saints team. They just got the doors blown off of them by the Ravens on Monday night. So they're a 3-6 team, and they beat the Falcons by a point. They beat the Seahawks by 7, and they blanked the Raiders 24-0. The Raiders with their fancy new coach. And they have losses to the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Vikings, the Bengals, the Cardinals, and now the Ravens, 27-13 loss. A short week. They have to hit the road. They have to come to Pittsburgh, who's coming off of a bye week. I mean, I know that Mike Tomlin teams, people say they play down the competition. I don't know if it's necessarily playing down. They're a dog, too. You usually know the odds. What are the Steelers at right now? Do you know, or do I have to go look this one up?
I actually hadn't checked, believe it or not, but I think that it's a winnable game for sure. I think the Saints have a couple studs on defense, a couple names, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, to name a few. But they've underperformed.
To name a few. Then you just glossed over that last one after standing for him all off season.
I would still take him 100%. Yeah. That's why I'm so excited to see Casey in the 3 safety sets, man. But I think the Saints are a beatable team because the defense has stars at all the levels, but the stars haven't aligned really for the defense. They're not really performing that well. And the quarterback issue is worse than the Steelers. I think that Andy Dalton isn't the answer. I think they're kind of stuck playing him right now. And for whatever reason, they're afraid to take the kid gloves off of Taysom Hill. And I don't think it can get much worse. Like, you might as well just play that guy for the whole game. I think he's a monster with the ball in his hands, and he's more fun to watch than Andy Dalton. But hey, if they're going to play Andy Dalton, who we're very good against most of the time for the duration of his career, I have no problem playing against him. And I mentioned this previously on the show, but I think that TJ Watt, like, who doesn't feast on this type of quarterback? Like, you made the joke towards me, but I'm saying whenever we play a quarterback who isn't like the most mobile, it's just, we get minimum like 3 or 4 sacks, it feels like. So I think it's a perfect game for TJ to come back, because I think Dalton is a very sackable quarterback, first and foremost. Their offense hasn't mustered anything really inspiring, in my opinion. I've heard Kamara has had an up and down year. Fortunately, I haven't had the displeasure of having him on any of my fantasy teams, but I do know that Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas, like, how big of a tease was that? They never play for them. Like, that was supposed to be a thing. They never see the field. I don't know when it's because they're injured or because they're not like totally ready to go out there. I don't know what they're doing with those two, but their offense is uninspiring, to say the least. So I say again, they have a few stars on defense, and there's some wiggle and excitement they can add to their offense with Taysom Hill, and if Kamara decides to have a good game. But it's a very winnable game, but they're not like a terrible team. They're right like on the Steelers level, so I don't think there's going to be any looking past towards this team. I think the Steelers are going to have to take it seriously. It's pretty much a must win. You really have to win this game. You've got all the cards in your favor, had a nice bye week off, guys were able to get healthy. If they're going to strike, it has to be now.
Yeah, Andy Dalton isn't exactly Mr. Primetime when you're talking about NFL starting quarterbacks, and particularly against the Pittsburgh Steelers. In fact, he's lucky it's not primetime, because that's usually when he's at his poorest.
He's like Kirk Cousins, but worse.
Yeah, well, Kirk Cousins is getting it done right now. Kirk Cousins
that's not what I'm saying. Don't make them come for me, okay? I like Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is getting it done for sure.
Yeah.
But it's still true that in primetime he crumbles. But not in primetime, he's top of the league.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, man. And I'm just sitting around, like, I'm looking at Andy Dalton, and I'm just thinking to myself, well, here we go again. Andy Dalton. And what is he going to be able to do against the Steelers or with this team? I mean, so far his numbers are somewhat respectable. I mean, he's still completed about 65% of his passes. He had one game with 4 touchdowns, which we were talking about off the air. It was like, what? But for the most part, he's Mitch Trubisky, but not as mobile. He'll throw the ball. He'll throw the ball away, and he'll take his checkdowns. And here or there, he's capable.
I bet Casey gets a pick. I can just feel it.
That would be pretty awesome, man. I'd be all over that, to be completely honest.
I was telling my buddy, I was like, dude, I feel like unless I'm imagining this and I spend way too much time on Twitter, which is true. Not paying for that check mark though, unverified bad boy. I felt like Casey's name was being brought up to the surface a lot during camp and stuff. I feel like he was getting his hands on a lot of balls. Pause. And I feel like that was a sign of things to come, And if that's what he can offer, why not have it start right now? Because Dalton, like you already said, like I said, he's not the best quarterback. And I feel like this could be a game where if you want to right the ship with defense, what better time with TJ Watt back, Casey in the folds? Granted, we probably, I hope I'm wrong, won't get to see William Jackson III immediately. They said, which sucks, that he was supposed to start after he was traded. Like the next day, Terrell Lawson said, yeah, he's starting. But I'm paraphrasing. But now he's got like a back injury, so they're trying to ease him in. I prefer him be out there right now, but that might have to hold off for a week. But even with him out, Casey being in there, Minka obviously, I think this would be a good week to try to get that turnover ratio up a little bit.
Yeah, some splash plays. Well, Witherspoon was back on the injury report once again as well. And I believe, I got to find the injury report now that we're talking about it. But let's go back. Jarvis Landry, almost 30 years old. He'll be 30 years old at the end of this month. He's 29. That's about where everything starts to fall apart for wide receivers. And Michael Thomas, I mean, I feel bad. I mean, I took a flyer on him. Actually, I stashed him and DeAndre Hopkins, and the Hopkins fantasy pick is paying dividends right now because nobody wanted to touch him. He was on suspension. And one of my leagues, they have like a bajillion bench spots. I was like, why not? Like, I'm trying to win championships, bro. So, we've got to play 3 wide receivers. But you're absolutely right. That does hurt their offense, despite having a rookie from Ohio State, Chris Olave, that's just tearing it up right now as well. He's a very good player. He's a safety blanket. Steelers are getting 2 points at home, by the way. Over under on this game is only 40, like a straight across the board 40. And I don't feel as confident. I do feel confident that the Steelers could do some things because they were already playing pretty tight on defense. If their defense can get some splash plays, create some short fields, that can only help Kenny Pickett. I still don't feel that Matt Canada is going to call 10, 12, 14 play drives that are going to go the length of the field and end in scores. And now I don't feel all that great about Matt Wright from any more than 40 yards right now. Maybe 45, but beyond 50, I don't think he has that many opportunities beyond. I don't even think he's kicked one beyond 50 this year so far. It's not like Tomlin trotting Boswell out. Oh, 56 yards. Yeah, go right ahead. Just kick it through the uprights, man. It's probably how he got hurt. Just doing too much, but it's understated.
70 yarders in practice.
Yeah, it's really understated just how good Chris Boswell is. He is a world beater at that position. Justin Tucker gets all of the kind of pomp and circumstance, but otherwise, Boswell should be right up there, and I don't think he gets just as much. So the early injury report, we actually have both of them. Let me see if I can, for the last 2 days, try and pull this bad boy up. And Chris Boswell, obviously, he's headed to injured reserve and will be out for 4 weeks. William Jackson III, who they just traded for, who I thought could make a bigger impact. And Witherspoon's hurt too, but Witherspoon kind of got benched for James Pierre, which wasn't the most promising thing for his future with the Steelers. Levi Wallace has kind of been a little bit of burnt toast. He's a guy that you put in there after the fact. But Cam Sutton's been really solid on the other side. So if they could stabilize the other position, but like we said, the extra DB, the extra safety, maybe Sutton doesn't have to slide over. You don't have to have Pierre and Wallace on the field at the same time. I think that will really behoove the Steelers.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there's Witherspoon, and then Levi Wallace was full. Long snapper with injured ribs doesn't sound great coming off a bye week either. But Christian Kuntz is back, full participant. Miles Jack, DNP the last 2 days with a knee.
And that's the big one. That's the one no one's talking about that has me a little worried that I'm not trying to talk about it because I don't want to jinx anything.
I hear you. That one's got me bothered too. Larry Ogunjobi, who's getting kind of all over the place. The guy just keeps getting banged up. And then Malik Reed and Cam Hayward show up on the report. Basically, day of rest, personal reasons, etc. So we'll see. We'll see how this ends up for Friday and what game status that they have. I mean, being down Jack and Ogunjobi, Witherspoon, Jackson. That's a lot of dudes again, and it's just I thought that this team was going to be getting healthy at the right time, and you don't get any injury reports during the bye. So obviously now I've been made to look like a fool. But yeah, Kamara, they haven't got Kamara really going, and you know if he's out there against Spillane, and I think Bush has been all right, getting sideline to sideline. He's been filling gaps a little bit better, but Spillane could be a thumper here or there, but I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know if that's just something that's just
I hope he doesn't have to play much, but here's the thing too, that I know that if Casey's good to go, and as long as there's no surprise and actives with that, is he's going to be on the field for Spillane in certain packages. They're going to run the 3 safety thing and take Spillane off. So that'll be something that'll benefit the Steelers greatly. But yeah, I mean, if Spillane's out there in coverage, the Saints will look to exploit that. That's not a secret to anybody. I think that rotating Casey and for him will be the smart play. And they could, I mean, I don't really know how much they want to play Bush by himself out there, but Bush has been solid to what you're saying. I agree with that firmly. He hasn't been, what you hoped, what you'd seen as a rookie just yet, but he's been better than what people want to admit. I want to say, like he's been pretty solid for us, and on a defense that's gotten cut up a few times recently in games, like embarrassed. He's helped us not get totally killed. And Edmonds too. Edmonds has been one of our best players on defense for a while now, I feel like. So we can keep victory lap in that one.
Yeah, they're just so banged up. Well, no, because the talking heads, the guys that are on the fan, they'll keep saying their stuff. Of course, Matt Canada didn't get fired, so they're just going to keep banging their drum on that type of stuff.
I want him fired too, but they're just not going to do it because the plays will be the same. Like, yeah, they might call the plays different, out of order in a different way, which I'm all for, but the offense will be the same. So like I just think they're just too complacent to do it. And like I said before, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But they'll change after the season. I'm almost positive because there's too much turmoil. I don't think they're just going to be like fine after the season, even if the offense gets better, which I hope and think it can. I don't think Canada will be retained at the end of the year. I think they'll fire him regardless. There's just too many bad vibes on this offense as a whole.
Yeah.
And it isn't just Canada. Like I mentioned this before. There's a couple position coaches that I don't think are like the best that we could bring in. So I don't see a long future here for Matt Canada. But my point is, they're still not going to do it right now. They would have done it on the bye week if they were going to do it. I mean, if the Steelers get shut out, heaven forbid, then yeah, maybe. But that is like an extreme circumstance that, I mean, nobody wants to see, regardless of how bad you want Will Anderson, which I do. But I don't want to get shut out.
Will Anderson, and there's another thing too, but let me go back to that in a second because everybody wants to look at the shiny new toy and look ahead, and they say
the draft's fun, dude. Don't poo on the draft. I mean, when your team isn't that good, you just look at these things. It's fun.
There's half a season left. Like that's number one.
I'm not running mock draft simulators. I'm just like looking at like what could potentially happen.
But Jadeveon Clowney was supposed to be the truth too, and
so was Von Miller.
Yeah, well, Von Miller, I don't know. He surprises me still sometimes for being old dude. But, time to remind everyone the Steel City Underground podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. I got the shave bag out today, man. Although you got the little, I don't think I have everything in here though. And there's like this, watch, I'm not going to be able to unzip it now that I'm recording. That's just too funny. But the trimmer, and the coolest thing about the trimmer is being rechargeable. Got the nose hair trimmer, the weed whacker, the lawnmower. I should call them by their actual God-given names by the marketing team and the marketing gurus at Manscaped. You could hear the thing. Bzz. But look at that, man. It's got the light on it. That's what I was talking about. You see the blades there? Yeah, I mean, it's just that's perfect. It's the trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say the greatest ball trimmer ever. So that's their words. I love saying them though. So it features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. So the Lawnmower 4.0 is also waterproof with that 4000K LED spotlight that you need for a more precise shave. And my fogless mirror in my shower actually fell today. And if you ever have any one of those things that are sticking up on the wall, like in your shower, and it does that, and after you just get out, it sounds like a shotgun blast. It scared the living crap out of me.
Did it break?
No, it did not break because it's cheap plastic to begin with. But yeah, you know what? It's like I got the great Manscaped stuff here. Waterproof. You could say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. Now you just clog up the drains with you said you're Italian. You got the Sasquatch thing going.
Oh, yeah, dude. Tall, dark, and handsome. No, sir. I'm short, hairy, and handsome. When the ladies walk in and see me, they just go, shh. SHH, short, hairy, and handsome.
Yeah, I was trying to look for there it was. Like everything is in the bag. There is
oh yeah, they set you up.
Yeah, it's the little gizmo. That's the Performance 4.0 package. If you're taking a look to find the right tools for the job, and there it is, skin safe technology, and they're replaceable ceramic blades too. So this isn't just like something you buy, you spend a nice little penny on it. Although you could save 20% with the promo code Steel City plus free shipping. But yeah, this technology, it's set back from the edge, 3 millimeters, and precision engineered for maximum confidence while trimming below the waist or anywhere else. If you got, hairy pits, hairy whatever, hairy chest, hairy neck, hairy back, it could do everything there. Hairy, you know what, man? I don't know. Like, I was thinking of an Adam Sandler skit, and that should not be repeated.
I was just saying for other people.
You ever hear the old Adam Sandler CDs where he's got the buffoon, and the buffoon is like, "Hey, man," and
I know Hanukkah song. I know a couple of his like classics, but I'm not sure if I know the one you're referencing.
He said something like, "One time I looked at my butthole in the mirror, and it freaked me out." It was so great.
That's a good impression, man.
I could probably do it a little better. I need to wet my whistle.
And I just did Scott Hansen for my buddy earlier.
Yeah, it's a dirty CD though, so I can't get into it too much. But he's like, "Hey man, I'm going to go and piss in that guy's gas tank." They're like, "Oh, buffoon, I love you." And those are
anything ever happens to Rob Schneider, he should call you, man.
Oh man, hey, I got a picture with Rob Schneider like about a year ago, a little over a year ago. He did stand up at the local minor league baseball park. And
was he good?
Yeah. Oh, he was great. He's absolutely great. Believe it or not, you'd think he's just like a one-trick pony or something, but he was awesome. And he's kind of a short dude. And this is like, people are still like wearing masks and talking about like COVID and stuff like that. And I was able to just go up and take a picture. But he also kind of had like one of these like WTF like security, where the hell are you over here? But he also didn't shy away from his fans. It was a small, intimate setting. It wasn't like a sellout in the stands or anything. It was set up like with a small stage on the infield and stuff. Pretty cool stuff, man. So another little, he had like the little hat for, was it Happy Gilmore? Like you can do it. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
yeah.
You can do it. Yeah. So of course he said that, but and he was also making some jokes too, because there was like lightning and dark clouds that were coming in over the back sky. And he's, hey, if I end up dead, it's going to say that I died here. Like doing this comedy show in front of like 150 people.
Dark humor.
It was so great. I had the pleasure of actually seeing Bob Saget, several years ago. I mean, he's passed away, but nothing like his stuff on Full House. So if you can find recordings or anything, and you're into absolutely, I'm not talking just raunchy, just
I'm hip to Bob Saget. Yeah,
nasty. Oh my goodness. I mean, he made me blush, and I, swear like a sailor, son of a truck driver. That's what I say. So I've heard it all, and you've seen a lot of stuff over the years. And I mean, it made me blush on a few things. I did not have the guts. One thing you don't do when you go see a comedian is sit in like the front 1, 2, 3 rows in the dead center. You avoid that at all costs. Now, Rob Schneider, he walked around a little bit, but Bob Saget, these poor folks that were right dead center, he was on them from the minute he stepped on the stage for like a full hour, like these different guys, you know, and you can imagine the things that he's saying. Not all, what do you want to say? All that flattering, because the guy didn't use Manscaped, dude. So he was a hairy guy. But wireless charging system, and when it comes to the lawnmower, the weed whacker, rechargeable, all that stuff, check out the Performance 4.0 package. Promo code Steel City. Back to football, although we would like to be some stand-up comics. The real reason we're like off track is not only is it a late show getting together, we're out of sync by week. Like, what else can we really look forward to? The Steelers having a chance. I mean, like I said, the Colts are dumpster fire. The Raiders are. They've beaten the Bengals once already. The Saints, I think this is where they got to get on track here in order to win. And like I said, why do you think it's a winnable game? Because New Orleans, they have some games where they put up 20-something, they put up 30-something here or there. Some of that is by virtue of, you know, defensive touchdowns. They aided by their defense. They are, let me see, in a takeaway differential, they are currently, though, -10. So they are the worst in the league right now when it comes to turnovers. A lot of that had to deal with Jameis Winston, but also has to deal with Andy Dalton. He's not... Yeah. He's not adverse to coughing up the football. They're 11th in points scored, 28th in points allowed. They have the 7th best pass game and the 12th rushing. They're 9th against the pass, 19th against the run. Some of that has to do with some of their opponents. I think as long as the Steelers can contain on defense, I think Kenny Pickett, I think 2 weeks, going to do the youngster well. I think we're going to start to see some things come along, and it's going to be helpful to not have to play like the Eagles. Look at the Dolphins, too, man. They're undefeated with Tua Tagovailoa in there. They've just played like some juggernauts on the schedule. They had the short week that set them up bad on the road with Cleveland. You kind of already thought that was not going to work out well in their favor. We know Buffalo.
Saints are 19th versus the run, you said?
9th or 19th against the run. 9th against the pass.
That's good because, you know, Kenny uses legs. I mean, Najee and Jalen Warren get on track. So that's good. We need that could benefit us because they're hell-bent on getting that running game going, and it'd be a good time, like we've said multiple times now, for them to get it going versus Saints. And 19th versus the run isn't that great.
Yeah, and Andy Dalton, he's like 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions so far this season on 190 attempts. 6 games he's started, so this will be his 7th start. Again, short week. They have to travel. They have to play a 1 o'clock game. They are Central Time Zone at least, so there's a little bit of the schedule that's going to throw them off that they're going to have to adjust to, and we'll see if the Steelers are going to be slow starters or not. Alvin Kamara leads the team. He only has 1 rushing touchdown so far this year, but he has 4.3 yards per average. That was Najee's average last year, as well as James Conner the year before that. So if you're thinking that these guys haven't done great, well, then that might not be great either if you're thinking of it from the same context. So put things into perspective. And also Kamara, they're trying to get him involved in the pass game. 36 receptions, 319 yards, still only 2 receiving touchdowns. If you want to talk about leading receivers, he is second only to Chris Olave, who has 43 receptions. He does have 618 yards, 14.4 per catch with 2 touchdowns. He's a big play threat. So
Olave is so good, dude. He's a beast.
He is. You can't take anything away from him.
We liked him coming out. We both wanted him. If they were going to take a receiver first round, we were like, Olave.
Absolutely. And part of that is just me homering for the Buckeyes. I won't lie. But I knew he was good. As soon as he stepped on the field, he's like looking at like Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. It's like there's no way this guy won't make it in the league. And
positions similar to quarterback, they just have that it factor. George Pickens has it. You know, they just some guys bust out, but yeah, Olave he seemed about as safe of a pick as you could get at the receiver position coming out this year because he's proven it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Taysom Hill, 40 runs for 343 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's the one you got to look for in these special packages. I'm trying to think of
typical. We give up like a big play to Taysom Hill. I'm calling it now.
Like 80 yards. I always see is somebody had that Terrell Pryor play up.
That's the longest run in Saints history. Taysom Hill.
I can't argue with you. It sucks.
No, I wish it wasn't true. It's like an ongoing joke in my family how we're great for people to have like their career games and break records.
Yeah, and he usually rips off pretty decent runs, 8.6 per attempt. Andy Dalton's run around a little bit. Some of this might even be some kneel down, so I can't even say his 2.4 is anything to talk about. They had Latavius Murray that they added to the roster, but the rest of their wide receivers are kind of like a group of who the hell are these guys? Because Juwan Johnson, Traquan Smith, they tried to get Kevin White involved in this deal. They're just anything that can stick, and they're doing the same thing in the secondary. One of their corners isn't necessarily strong either. They had signed Chris Harris Jr. Off of the street to kind of be a backup with Paulson Adebo back there.
It's we're number 19. It's freaking gross.
Oh yeah, I know some of them. You're big on the number juju stuff, you know what I mean? But Marcus May, the Honey Badger, Marshawn Lattimore, the rest of those guys are pretty good. They traded what's his name, Gardner Johnson, over to the Eagles, so maybe the nickel corner, maybe that slot, maybe you get Pat Freiermuth involved a little bit more now that Chase Claypool's gone, and that's about the biggest one that we have to mention, because I know a lot of people were like, well, if William Jackson's hurt and they traded for him, they're not paying a whole lot. Most of his bonuses are already covered by the Washington Commanders. This was the guy that the Steelers wanted to get ahead of Artie Burns back in 2016, the 2016 draft. Yes, 2016. Yeah. So now you got him. I know he's 30 years old, but he's still a veteran player. Maybe they could squeeze another year, 2, 3, like a Joe Hayden out of him. A lot of people were thinking, well, is he a cornerback 1? I might have jumped the gun saying that, but at one time, yes, I believe that even if he's a corner 2, you could have Cam Sutton as your corner 1.
Well, at that one time, Terrell Austin was his coach.
That's
so Terrell
right.
Austin knows how to get the best out of William Jackson. So if there's a place for him, if there's a place for William Jackson to kind of hit the reset button on what has been a disappointing past like year and a half, it would be right now with the Steelers with Terrell Austin back coaching him. Pardon me, knowing how to utilize and best and get the best out of him. So I love that connection. And we're paying almost nothing. Omar Khan reworked his contract too already, almost instantly. He's making like $1.5 million this year. So we gave up nothing to get him. We gave up a pick. Yeah. We gave up a pick in 2025 and got one back, and William Jackson. So like we got him to essentially be like, yeah, we'll pay this guy $1.5 million. That's what William Jackson cost the Steelers. So it does suck if he can't play this week, but I don't think he'll be out very long. The Claypool trade, yeah, that's the bigger news, and we won't know the true value of the return on that trade until later. But that my floor for Claypool and all these hypotheticals when he was brought up as a trade candidate both early in the season and both as of late, as his value was about as high as it could get, I said my floor is a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick or something like that. And they were able to get a high 2nd round pick, and that's like a good compromise for me. I don't think you're going to be able to get much better value for this guy. Granted, I had been enjoying his development over the past couple weeks. It seemed like he caught fire again and was doing better, but I will say his best game of the season was with Mitch throwing the ball. So I don't know if the success was going to continue with Kenny necessarily, even though he threw that touchdown with Kenny starting. That has nothing to do with Kenny being the quarterback. So I'll just put a pin in that real quick. But the Claypool trade, I'm about as happy as I can be without going full on, yeah, I wanted him gone. I didn't want him gone. But to get return value alone on a player, and for those who don't know what I mean, Claypool was picked 49th, and right now that pick is projected to 40th or 39th right now.
43, 44, but then again, the Bears and Justin Fields just all of a sudden started doing things, and
they just had an amazing game and still lost. I know it was to the Dolphins, but
Packers stink, the Lions stink, so who knows where that pick's going to end up, but it might be, it should be in the top half, you would think.
It's better than the Ravens pick. Also, I'm happy about that, because when I heard it was the Ravens pick, I was a little less enthused about the trade. I was like, dang, that's kind of like middle of the road of the 2nd round. But if the Bears keep not winning games, I think it's a good deal. I know why they did it. I think it makes sense when you look at the Steelers really had no other area on the entire roster that they could trade a guy from a position group without handicapping themselves. And there really wasn't much value anywhere else. Like receiver was the one room that they have established dudes already in the room, and a guy who looks like he's going to be a future number 1 in George Pickens. They still like Calvin Austin, even though he's not playing this year. Deontay, that's an argument for a different day, but they aren't screwed in that room. They were able to maximize value. And we all know it's no secret the Steelers are the best team at drafting wide receivers. If they really want to, and they probably will, they'll take a receiver in the 3rd round this year, or with that second round pick, maybe they'll do that. But I don't think it was a bad move. I've warmed up on it more and more as the days have gone on because of all these reasons that have just popped in my head. It makes sense from a business standpoint, from a team structure standpoint, from a future standpoint, because the roster isn't that good. And now with these 3 early picks, they'll be able to hopefully invest at least 1 pick minimum, ideally 2 picks in the trenches, offense and defense. That would be an ideal first 2 or 3 picks. And that's really all I have on the Claypool trade, is because there's not much more we know so far because it's circumstantial with who we're going to draft.
Yeah. If the Bears continue on a trend of being bad, the Steelers could have 3 top 50 picks. I did the math. I want to say it went back almost. Oh, geez, I got to go back and look now. I'm starting to think. I was almost thinking like Chuck Noll or the first season that Bill Cowher was coaching in '92, that the Steelers have had 3 picks in the top 50, which is just unfathomable to think about. Not that they've needed it. They found guys like TJ Watt. I think Ben is about the highest. I think Ben was 11th. That, was a surefire pick and maybe the highest pick that they've had other than trading to acquire Devin Bush a few years ago. Yeah, Ben was 11th. Troy Polamalu was 16th.
I know Plexico was high.
Plexico was high, and that's why I'm starting to think I'm going back. Where was Plaxico? Plaxico was 8, Marvell Smith 38, Kendrick Clancy 72, and they also had pick 77, Hank Poteet, if there's a name that throws you back, but also Clark Hagan's back then too. T. Martin, that was the 2000 draft. And let's see, Alan Faneca in 98 was pick 26, Jeremy Stott 41, Chris Conrad 66. So you're still, let me see, pick 92, 91, 88. I'd found this 76. Deion Figures, Chad Brown, Andre Hastings in 93. That was 3 within the top 76. Leon Searcy, Levon Kirkland, Joel Steed. That was 3. That was up to pick 67. Huey Richardson, Jeff Graham, Ernie Mills, up to pick 73. Eric Green, Kenny Davidson, and Neil O'Donnell. That was up to pick 70 and 89. So yeah, it was back to Chuck Noll. Tim Worley, 7th overall. Tom Ricketts, 24th overall, and Carnell Lake in the 2nd round with pick 34. So the Steelers, and that wasn't necessarily the greatest of drafts, but you got DJ Johnson in the 7th round, Jerry Osavsky in the 10th, and Carlton Hasselrig, 12th round, pick 312. All the way back then when they went that far back.
His kid.
Nice. So mixed success there, as you could see, but you also see when the Steelers are picking a little bit ahead just to get you into the same kind of gear of where they were right just this season. Kenny Pickett was 20, George Pickett's 52, DeMarvin Leal 84, Kendrick Green was 87 in the 3rd round last year, Alex Highsmith 102, and Justin Lane 83. So it kind of gives you like a little bit of perspective of where they were picking. Mason Rudolph 76, 3rd rounders all the time. Cam Sutton 94, so pretty. Javon Hargrave 89, Sammy Coates legendary 87. So not to look too far ahead on that. And there's people that are still up. I wanted to bring up one more thing. They have Saints do have an undrafted guy. It's probably going to slide in at what is it, left guard, right guard. For right guard, Cesar Ruiz might be playing center for Eric McCoy. Ruiz slid in there last game, and then we'll see. Ryan Ramczyk plays right tackle. They do have an offensive line that can maybe be pushed around a little bit, and Ruiz, formerly a center but no longer a center, so he's going to be tasked with something that essentially him and Kelvin Throckmorton, who did play in every game last year, he had like 14, 15 starts. So he still has some experience, but maybe they're not at the top of the line too, and off that short week. And I have one more for you before we close the show here. As Brian would call you, Zachadonia.
I've heard it all before, man. I had people call me Salad Donut when I was growing up. Like, the creativity wasn't the highlight of these kids.
Salad Donut. Salad Donut. That's pretty interesting. Here you go. This will only be tipped off for one reason, I think. If I didn't show you some of the TD to INT ratio stuff, you probably wouldn't be able to pick these numbers out of a hat. But here's those aforementioned group of 4. 3 of those are Ben Roethlisberger numbers through his first 3 seasons. And then another one is Kenny Pickett. And those are a per game average. So those are broken down when I went on Pro Football Reference and broke down each of those seasons per game for, well, in Roethlisberger's case, he had one that I might have done all starts. I may have done all starts, but we know when he first started or played as a rookie.
But your point is just, I mean, they're all like strikingly similar.
They are strikingly similar. If you can't see this on YouTube, just to give you an idea.
6.66s, not to be weird.
Yeah, 58.1% completion, 63.6, 66.6 twice over. Per game averages, 234 yardage, 198, 192, 187. And I won't get into the TDINT, but it's like 1.2, 1.4. The 0.4 is obviously Kenny right now. So you could find that on here. And he's attempting 33 passes per game, where Ben only had one of these 3 seasons where per game he was attempting 31. So 1.2 twice, 1.4 and 0.4, and then it's 1.5 on the interceptions, 0.8, 1.6 and 0.8. You got 0.8 twice, but Ben almost matched Kenny. That was year 3 Ben Roethlisberger, by the way, 58.1, 234 yards, 1.2 TDs, 1.5 interceptions. He was sacked on average 3.1 times. Kenny's being sacked 2.4. The other two numbers are 1.9 and 2.1. So very, very similar when we're talking about like kind of weight this, kind of ride this out. Let's get this guy some experience. He needs to learn. He's a young buck, et cetera, because there's still a lot of people up in my mentions that are like, oh, just play Trubisky. They didn't really give him a chance. Like, bro, he's borderline almost 60 starts now in the NFL. We know the kind of guy he was. Well, look at the times they scored.
What's the point? What's the point? There's no ties to Trubisky, man. There's none. You know what I mean? Like, just get on with it with Kenny. Look at Justin Fields now, okay? Have patience, all right? It's not going to be pretty immediately with Kenny. I think it's established now, but you can see enough there. I mean, if Kenny was bad, we would know. I can't put it any clearer. Like, if Kenny was that bad, if he was that abysmal, he wouldn't be out there. We all would know. But he's shown enough where you're like, this kid might have it. And that means there's hope, man. And, like, it might not happen overnight, but he gives his team the best chance to win in the quarterback room. That is still the case going forward right now.
So how about this for the statistics here? Kenny Pickett has 25-plus completions in 3 of his past 4 starts as a rookie already. And Najee Harris, believe it or not, he's since last year entering the league, he's 3rd among running backs with 98 receptions and is one of 3, along with Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon, with 1,500-plus rushing yards and 500-plus receiving yards.
That's good.
Pretty interesting. And you think that maybe a lot of people are getting down on him and whether certain guys should have been drafted instead. And we hear about linemen and all this other jazz, but it's all baloney. We're out of the woods, I think, with that. Let's see what the rest of the season brings us. I think the Saints, if they could bring, this one's a little bit more of a quality opponent, I will say. And then the Bengals, the next 2. But if they could stack 2 back-to-back home wins and get a little bit of confidence going, I think it's just going to keep moving from there. It's a runaway. It's going to be a runaway train for this season, in my opinion, especially with some of the other games that are still coming up on the schedule. Maybe the Steelers can make a push for the playoffs. And, you know, I don't think they're looking ahead at anybody, but I'm just thinking to myself, they beat the Saints. They already know. Now you come to a game. Now you've just won after a bye. Now you're bringing the Bengals back home. And I know the Bengals are going to want a little bit of revenge. But if you get beat Cincinnati again and you beat them in your own building, they're going to be 0-4 in the AFC North. They're not going to win anything unless they have a better record overall. And it looks like the Ravens may run away with this because I think they have the easiest strength of schedule now going forward out of all the teams in the NFL. But you never know. You never know what happens. Steelers got them twice on the schedule. They always play them tough. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing TJ Watt back out there. I'm looking to see if KZ is a positive addition here. And I'm hoping a few of the other names that we mentioned get healthy. Just, it's aggravating. So aggravating to see this team injured. That is one of the problems with the Bengals right now. Chidobe Awuzie hurt. Jamar Chase hurt. You see what happens with those teams. When they were healthy, they out healthied everyone else. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that way. Jonathan Taylor had been playing up and down with the Colts and cost Frank Reich his job. And
the Chargers forever.
Oh man, the Chargers, they're always snake bitten too, man. It really feels like it. So Zach, we're up against it, my friend. Thanks for joining me late in the week here. We'll see you back around for the post game. We'll just change that little graphic right above here and switch out the post game and see your name back on the marquee, man.
After the win. 2013 Steelers.
Ooh, 2013. So you're going with the under.
Oh, yeah, of course. Have you seen the offense?
Well, I know Matt Wright's kicking too, so says it all, folks. So don't forget that promo code Steel City, 20% off free shipping at manscaped.com. My name's Joe Kuzma. His name's Zach Saladonia. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, we encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.